Hi, I'm glad you're here. Today we're talking about your prayers matter. Jesus knew how important prayer was. He knew how important it was to talk to the Father and to go to Him for everything. He knew how important it was to be in constant communication with the Father. Luke 5:16 says, "And he withdrew himself into the wilderness and prayed." Mark 1:35 says, "And in the morning, rising up a great while before day, he went out and departed into a solitary place and there prayed." Matthew 14:23 says, "And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone." And then there's the prayer at Gethsemane. And every time I read this prayer, I just think of all that was on his mind and all that he was going through because he knows what's coming. He's about to go to the cross and he knows. And so he knew that getting through all of it, the only thing he could do was just to pray. And that's where we're going to be in Matthew 26:36 through 46. And it says, "Then cometh Jesus unto them into the place called Gethsemane, and saith unto his disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. And then he saith unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the second time, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them, and went away, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples, and saith unto them, Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me. It said, My soul is exceeding sorrowful. And he asks God if he can take this cup from him. And then when you go to Luke chapter 22, verses 39 through 46, this is Luke's version of that prayer. And it said, And he came out and went as they went in the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. And when he was at the place, he said unto them, Pray that ye enter not into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. And when he rose up from prayer, and that was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow, and said unto them, Why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. It says, being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as great drops of blood. When I read about Jesus praying like that, I think of the agony and the stress, the anguish, the anxiety. I think, you know, he's got the weight of the world on him. It's just heavy. And it said, he felt heavy. And the only way that he knew that he could make it through any of this was to go to the Father, and just to bring it all to him, and just to have that conversation with the Father about it, just talking to him and just laying it all out there. I can't imagine praying so earnestly that his sweat drops are blood. I just I can't even wrap my mind around how much stress, how much anxiety that he had on him. And, just to bring it all to the Father. And when you read these prayers, you see all of the emotions that he goes through. There's stress, anxiety, he's sorrowful, um, there's heartbreak, there's you see the love that he has for God, and you see the love that he has for us. And he wants to do what God would have him to do. And he just knows what's coming. So it's something that he's earnestly seeking God on. We can see that when he goes through all of these emotions, that, you know, those are a lot of the same emotions that we go through throughout our lifetime. The stress, or whether it be anxiety or hurt or brokenness. We see that with this, when we go through those things and we feel like no one understands what we're going through, no one knows what we're dealing with, Jesus knows. He knows everything that we're going through, and he's been there. He's felt those feelings, he's felt those emotions. And he's showing us here that the only way that he's able to go through it, and the only way that we can go through it, is taking it to the Father and laying it all out there. He knows, and he's showing us how important prayer is. So, prayer is our greatest spiritual weapon. It's the one thing that we can do to feel some sort of relief. When we bring those things to the Father, when we're praying, that brings comfort, it brings strength, it brings peace. It brings us closer to the Father, and through those prayers, we know we're not alone. And when we look at Jesus, he was not alone. Our prayers matter to God. Our prayers are important to him. When we're facing a battle, when we take those battles to the Lord, the battle is his. The Bible tells us the battle is the Lord's. The battle belongs to him. So God is our biggest weapon against whatever Satan is trying to throw at us. Jesus knew that, and he modeled that for us in the prayers that he prayed. When we're going through difficult stuff, like I said, if when we're going through things and we feel like no one understands, that no one is going to understand how I'm feeling, no one is going to understand what I'm going through, Jesus does. Jesus knows exactly how you feel because he's felt it. He's been there. It may not be the same situation that you're going through, but he's felt it, and he knows how to deal with those feelings, and he knows what he needs to do, and he's taken it to the Father. So that's what we need to do. So, knowing that he's been there, knowing that he's felt what we have felt, brings us some comfort, because we can see that Jesus went to the Father. And through this, we can learn that your prayers matter, and they matter to God. So whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, it's important to him. And he wants to help you through it. He wants to guide you through it. We just have to bring it to him. Your prayers matter. So I hope that you have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.